Hey guys, this is Connor with Conquest HP, and this video is about why skipping or jumping rope is just one of the best things you can do for overall athleticism and quality of life. Um, I, I just wrote an article about this at conquesthp.com. You can check that out if you rather read than listen. But skipping is one of those things that's been around forever, and it's such a good exercise methodology. It's such an obvious recommendation that it's like, oh, you should breathe more. You should breathe more deeply. You should get the water you need every day. Like it's one of those things that you can ignore because it's so obvious. It's so obviously good for you. People have been doing, or athletes have been doing skipping for a long time, and it remains an effective method today because it's just so good. It has literally stood the test of time. But again, because it's been around so long, people can use that to kind of discredit it. They can kind of think, well, if they're doing that, if championship boxers were skipping in 1907, that surely we have better, more scientific, more advanced ways to do this now, to do our conditioning or lose weight or whatever it is. And in reality, no. I mean, it holds up. Skipping is just as good now as it was then, and it does some very unique things that I don't think you really get from any other kind of exercise, to be honest. So I had all these thoughts yesterday, because yesterday I had I have Wednesdays are just an awesome day for me for training. It's all fun stuff. So I was in a field. I was doing barefoot sprints, which are just a lot of fun. Apart from the breathing hard and almost throwing up, I was throwing rocks, throwing my Highland stones, and then I came home and I was doing some Muay Thai work on the bag, and I was mixing that in with skipping. And while I was doing the skipping, I just kind of realized that everything I'd done that day for exercise was kind of an athletic movement thing. Um, and all of those athletic movements were really a question of producing as much force as possible, and using that force to either make myself or make an object resist gravity. So when I'm sprinting, I'm kind of leaping forward to resist gravity, and when I'm throwing the stone, obviously I'm throwing the stone as hard as I can to resist gravity as hard as I can. Um, but all of those things, all of that force, or sorry, all of that gravity resistance, you can kind of run it back and look at what happens if you go the other way. If you were just standing in normal good posture and you slowly kind of just cranked up the gravity that you experience from 1 to 11, and all of a sudden the gravity's way too much for you, you can see what would happen. The arches of the feet would start to collapse, the knees would bend in, your pelvis would tilt, your lower back would arch, your upper back would curl, your shoulders would round, your head gets in front of your body and then gets crushed forward. That's what happens when gravity is too much for you to resist, and that's exactly what bad posture and bad mechanics looks like. And this is not a coincidence. So our ability to resist those bad positions, or in other words, our ability to resist gravity, is part of what preserves joint health. It's extremely important for mood and for energy. I absolutely believe that. If you don't believe me and you have shitty posture, just go ahead and stand up as straight as you can and stick that chest out and tell me if you don't feel better in about 3 seconds. But it's also important for your functional capacity. So all of those movements that I was doing, all those athletic movements, even boxing, hitting the punching bag, if I allow those joints to get into a kind of a less advantageous position, I lose power. I leak power. It doesn't matter how much power I produce, I'll leak it, I'll waste it. So as I was skipping, I was realizing that, if I'm just standing there, my body weight's just flat on the ground. It's not a big deal. I can resist gravity. I'm pretty good at it. I have decent posture. If I bounce like this, my body weight is being magnified by the force of gravity and accelerating into the ground. So all of a sudden, all of those little postural challenges, like keeping the chest up, standing up tall, all that stuff, it's all being magnified into the space of a quarter second, where my body has to react from head to toe to make sure that my posture stays good and my joint position stays strong. So that really is athleticism. It's the same thing. If I can produce that force in a split second, as fast as I can snap my fingers to keep those positions strong, it means that as soon as I land, I can do whatever I want. I can go right into a punch. I can move laterally. I can do a back pedal. I can sprint. I can do whatever I want, and I can do it fast and powerful. So skipping is really like, it's such a simple thing. It's an old thing, but it is really ingenious for building that athleticism, and from the head and from head to toe. If you've got weak feet, it's going to work on your weak feet. If your upper back position is bad and that's leading to bad posture, it's going to pick on that. So it's always going to pick on the part of the body that's worst at resisting gravity. So if you start it with good posture and then you try to maintain that good posture as you go, there's really nothing else you can do that's as good as that. And it's fast too. It's really fast. It's faster than sprinting. Those reactions are faster than sprinting. It's faster than doing Olympic lifts or jumping or speed squats. It's faster than strength training. So it really is this unique thing. The other part about it is that it's cheap. It's affordable. It's convenient. You can pack a skipping bag into your pocket, or a skipping rope into your pocket if you want. It costs, what does it cost? $5 for a skipping rope? It's nothing, right? You can bring it with you anywhere. It's really cheap, easy to use, easy to learn. It'll embarrass you in terms of conditioning and coordination, all that stuff, which is always good. And all these skills transfer to life too. Like anything that makes you more athletic in that way. What we're talking about is good joint positions, good reactive speed, good reactive strength, that kind of stuff. That carries over just as much to going up and down stairs, or carrying your groceries, or playing with your grandkid, or whatever it is. Carries over just as much to that stuff as it does to punching someone in the face in the boxing ring. But skipping, it really is this thing that it's a unique exercise intervention. It's been around for a long time. It's been proven for a long time. We know how well it has worked for a long time. That's why the best boxers in the world still use this methodology, and why I'm sure a lot of other sports athletes do it too. But I just know more about boxers and MMA and that kind of stuff. So it's tried and true. It's cheap. It's simple. It's easy, and you just get a myriad of benefits from it, depending on what you're trying to get out of it. So I'm going to absolutely recommend that everyone watching this video try it. If you are not in the habit of doing any skipping right now, just get into it really easy. So that means just doing a few skips at a time, taking a break, giving your body some time to recover, making sure that you're spacing this out. So the first day you do it, don't do a whole lot. Just do a little bit, dip your toes in it and come back. See how horrifically sore you are the next day. And if you're totally out of shape, then what you can do is you can practice standing as tall as possible with the best possible posture you can for 5 minutes a day, say, as strict as possible, as tall as possible. And then do that same thing while walking around the house on the balls of your feet. And again, start small with that. Start with a couple minutes at a time, and then slowly ramp it up as your conditioning allows and as soreness allows. But overall, this is just going to make everyone a much more functional athlete, a much more explosive, powerful athlete, and it's going to make you a more functional person too, for whatever you might do throughout the day. So like I said, there's an accompanying article on the same topic at conquesthp.com. If you guys like this video or that article, please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.